We're here at Hooters.
We're here at Hooters,
Wait,
presenting the Madone.
Are you? Wait, what?
Jesse has to load a lot of the time. Madone.
Madone.
Long-term review.
I had one of those.
Oh my god.
I have this one.
I had this one too. Somebody bought mine
Why'd you sell it?
for
Money.
That's like the whole reason that that's like what our job. If this is your first time watching the channel, Trey is good at road bikes and good at road racing. I am more into off-road stuff and am not good at road racing. We have different perspectives on this thing. We've both ridden it a lot, Trey more than me. Trey's raced this thing all year, right?
All year.
All year. In
Probably.
Cat 1 races, just so we're clear. Joe Martin stage race. What was some other big ones?
Big,
Is that the biggest? That was the biggest
That was
one.
the biggest.
Yeah.
It's amateur, nationals.
Yeah.
A lot of events.
Now we feel qualified to tell you if it's any good or not. And spoiler, it's pretty good. It's a really good
It's a
bike.
good bike.
Yeah, it's a really good bike. It's like, honestly, it's really good. I have complaints about it. Like, I want to be clear.
Let's
I do have complaints about it. Yeah.
Start with the build.
Doesn't even like look at Trey's bike. It's
So why is it missing the front derailleur?
Why is it? Is this Grace's fault?
Yeah, I took it because my front derailleur stopped working.
Grace had a 105 front derailleur that just stopped working, so she took mine.
Did you warranty it?
That's a hard process with Shimano.
Yeah, especially when they're warranting all
but
those
this bike
cranks.
is-
Oh yeah, the Shimano crank problem really is.
There's a lot of Shimano warranties
Looks like-
happening right now.
That's a Schrammer, boy.
This is a SRAM crank arm with a cork, BB, and rotor chain rings. This is a race build, I guess I would say. Let's talk about the handlebars. It came with a 100 mil stem and 42 mil wide bars.
42 with in the drop. That's this part. If you don't know, 39 control. So this bar is narrow here and wide here, and it's not wide. It's this is the 42. So. Grace, you can't just film people without asking.
We did. It's okay.
This is, to me, the way that a road like handlebar should be, because this,
Wait.
there's so much ruckus going on.
You want us to sell one wheels?
Comment
Leave a
on, leave a
comment
comment.
below.
We like all have ADHD.
I think this is the best handlebar I've ever had. And it's so comfortable. It's perfect because my shoulders are wider than 42, right? Is that wider?
It's the same.
Maybe it's just 42. Anyway, but whenever I was riding this bike, the 39, like it was just so comfortable. You can buy this. This is a cool handlebar. I do want to tell everybody that it's not easy to route this. You do have to use the Blue Boys.
What the Blue Boys? The park tool routing.
Oh yeah, nobody knows
cables.
what that
no
is.
one knows what a Blue Boy is.
We call them Blue Boys, and you got to route it through here, and it's not as easy, especially after you get one in. If you want to see how hard it is to route the handlebar, check out our Madone build video we did. I go through it in depth there, and you can see my bike that is no longer my bike. It was the same color. One other thing I want to talk about is that, okay, that's not the bolt it's supposed to have, Trey, but
That one's titanium.
titanium, okay, it's lighter. This computer mount, you can adjust the angle of it. Important.
Quality.
I don't like the plastic, but you can adjust the angle. You can put the computer at whatever angle you want. Some other handlebars I've talked about, I've had an issue with the angle on them. So this one is a winner for me. I like the way that they do the integrated design. It all worked well.
Trey, there's one handlebar better than that one, and it's this one. It's the same handlebar as the original, except it's narrower, but still wide in the drops, just like the previous one that came on this bike.
Wait. It's the same thing.
It's the same, but smaller.
If you want to have the same feel of that one-piece handlebar on any bike,
You can do it.
you can just do it. You can buy this.
And just get the RSL handlebar. But the reason this is on here, again, this stem is too short and these bars are too wide, and you can't get the right size that I would need because they don't make it.
What's up with Trey not being able to enjoy anything cool?
I don't get the cool stuff, so I have to run the less cool stuff, comfortable and fast.
We did a video where literally I got like 4 or 5 comments about how stupid your bike looked because of that. Yeah, and I don't
Does
even
it look dumb?
I don't even think it looks dumb.
It looks a
but
little dumb.
It's honestly, in my opinion, I'm gonna call this the non-integrated top cap. I think it looks pretty chill. Why don't you have the Trek stem.
You can put any stem on here.
Okay.
It just mounts straight up. You don't need a specialized, or in this case, Trek stem to go with this bike. You can put any stem on there that you want, which is very convenient because there's a lot of stems out there and they're in stock from any brand. But in Specialized case, none of them are in stock and you have to buy them on eBay.
You know the Domane stem?
Yes.
Why don't you have that? It integrates with they have a top cap for that and everything.
Because this one's cheaper.
Cheaper.
Race bike gets some cheap parts sometimes.
You can buy a stem that has an integrated, like the cables kind of run into like a little catch, and it's a little bit cleaner than this, but definitely more aero than that.
You have to buy the additional top cap. Trek does not include all the top caps that you need with the bike.
Really annoying. Getting our hands on this was very hard.
You have to buy this piece separately and it's kind of expensive. It's like $30 or $40 just for the top cap. Specialized includes the top cap, but only the top caps for Specialized stems, because you can't run a different stem.
Do you remember whenever you were running this bike with the incorrect top cap and a normal stem? That
it
was
looked
hilarious.
really bad.
It was
while
like,
we were waiting on this
I don't
part.
even think that was safe.
Seat post.
It's my favorite seat post of all time.
So easy to adjust.
It's the best.
There's one screw in the back to adjust the angle, and there's one screw on the side to adjust the fore and aft. So easy to use.
So like if you like the angle of your saddle, but you need to scoot it forward and backwards, you can do that without ruining the angle. It's just one, like separate bolts. Super great design. I love the way this is designed, and it's a design I'm used to because all of my mountain bikes are the same way. The Axis Reverb I think has an excellent design just like this. There's separate fore aft, really good seat post. One thing I will say is you are limited. Obviously it's a super proprietary seat post, and I'm not upset about that. I love proprietary stuff normally, so you can be upset if you want, but I'm not.
Almost perfect.
Oh, what's wrong with
Zoom in on the tape.
Oh,
here.
I forgot about that.
If you take off the tape, this is how you adjust the height, and so dirt from your tire splashed straight up in that hole, which is kind of not a problem but inconvenient.
Speaking of dirt splashing up, how do you feel about the butthole on the bike? Are we calling it the butthole in the video?
The butthole doesn't bother me. It's just there. It's a talking point, but it's there. The ISO flow.
ISO flow. To be honest with you, I think it's a total gimmick. What do you think?
It's a gimmick until we talk about, I don't know if Jesse will agree, but this is by far the most comfortable bike I've ever ridden. I've ridden a lot of bikes. This bike feels like you're riding on gravel tires. When you hit bumps in the road, you hit cracks, you go over some like loose gravelly stuff, you don't feel it. It is so comfortable. It doesn't really make sense how or why it's so comfortable. I think the ISOFlow has something to do with it, but the front end also is extremely comfortable. I think that's probably the handlebar.
I agree with Trey. I think it is a very comfortable bike. I never rode this bike and was like, man, this thing's harsh, or this thing's hard to control. I even did legitimately ride this on gravel, and it wasn't like, it didn't feel terrible.
You can fit a tire that measures 36 mils on this bike. Trek claims you shouldn't run bigger than a 28, but 36 mil tires go right on.
I love that they're just like, nah,
They're
don't tell anybody if it's a huge tire.
But
yeah, this is what people come in the store and do. They're just like, can we talk about the aerodynamics of this thing?
It's fast.
Why is it so fast?
It's so fast.
I don't understand this. I've never ridden a bike that is as stupidly fast as this bike. And what I mean by that, coming from an unexperienced roadie here, it goes 22 miles an hour. It doesn't go any slower than that. It cannot go slower than that. It literally just goes 22 miles an hour, and it just glides along. You can really feel a tangible difference in the speed of this bike when you're riding it between this and other bikes, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would agree. This bike, once you get it up to speed, it doesn't slow down. Once you just got to get it there, and it just holds the speed.
The acceleration's not great.
The acceleration is where this bike lacks. I used it for a lot of crits this year. Towards the end of the race, you could kind of feel like you had to work a little harder than others coming out of corners where you had to slam the brakes going into the corner. I don't think it sucks at climbing.
I think it's bad at climbing. I don't know if it's scientifically bad at climbing. I don't race it. I don't care if it's actually slower or faster, but it definitely feels slower up the hills.
This bike doesn't have the lively, snappy feeling of some other bikes.
Like I've ridden like the Trek Amanda, SL7, SL8, like all that's only 3. Out of all those bikes that I just mentioned, this bike is the worst at climbing out of them. And I realize I just named like a bunch of climbing bikes, so probably makes sense.
It goes uphill fast enough, but then as soon as you go down the hill, it goes too fast.
You know what's funny about that is I felt better going downhill on this bike than I did my Amanda. For me, not being used to going that fast, the aerodynamics stabilized the bike and it feels very planted on the ground. Like it almost felt like I was on like a super long wheelbase a lot of the time, because realistically the thing that scares me the most about descending is the wind catching the bike, and this bike is so stable in the crosswind, and I just always felt like I was just like, I'm going, and for somebody who's legitimately scared of riding on the road, that was an awesome feeling. Do you think it sucks in the wind, or do you think it's good?
I have no problems with this bike in the wind. It just feels super stable. Can people buy these?
Yeah, they can.
They're in stock? How much in stock?
Well, so the cool thing about Trek Madone, this bike is infinitely orderable. And we've sold a lot of these already. The way to buy one is Project One. Basically, a lot of people don't know this. You can get a Project One from Trek for the same price as the stock build. You just change out the size of stuff.
If you get a stock color.
You have to get a stock paint job, which this one happens to be a stock paint job. So Trek Project One, I have some complaints about it. All in all, it's a really cool thing Trek does, and they build them by order. So yeah, if you want a Madone, like it's as simple as just ordering it up and they'll make it for you. I think that's pretty cool. You don't have to search around. You can go to your favorite Trek spot and actually legitimately order what you want. You might have to wait a month or two, depending on what time of the year it is, because they do literally paint these like in a factory in Wisconsin. So keep that in mind when you're looking for a Madone. Like you're not gonna see a Madone in stock, or okay, let me rephrase this. You're not gonna see a Madone SLR in stock in a lot of places, because a lot of bike shops are going to be like, no, we want you to order the one that fits you. If you're shopping for this bike, I highly recommend showing up with a little bit of knowledge about your bike fit so that the person helping you can order you the right thing, because this is $700 and to replace this takes another $200 of shop time pretty much. I mean, if you buy a bike from us, we usually try to like make it a little bit cheaper on the labor, just because you want to help somebody who just bought a really expensive bike. Not every bike shop is like that. So really do some research and make sure you're buying the right thing, because again, this is expensive, and then the aftermarket sales, these are probably almost zero. Wait, yeah. It might be, okay, we don't quote us on this, but theoretically this might be able to go on a different Trek bike, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. How much does this bike cost?
A little less than an S-Word.
I just went and looked at the computer. It's $13,000, y'all.
How much is a SL8?
$14,000.
$1,000 savings.
I still think there's some shenanigans there. You cannot order a Madone frame unless you get the black matte one. It looks cool, but like, you can build this bike for cheaper than $13,000 with the same parts on it. I don't understand why they're doing that. We do go out of our way to make things complicated on ourselves, and we have parts flying everywhere, so I do understand that we're definitely not normal in that way. But yeah, I would recommend doing a custom build. The only problem with that, and this is kind of the reason why I didn't buy another Madone, is you can't buy a frame from Project One unless you get the black one. So I wanted, whenever mine got bought, I was like really thinking, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get a cool color. For context, mine was the first wave of Madone. It was like pre-order. Yeah, I think this one was too. Yeah. We both got we ordered them before release, and so we both got them real early. And at the time, Project One was not a thing for Madone yet. And so I was really excited. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get a cool color this time. You can only get completes. I already had wheels, I had drivetrain, I had everything. So for me to get a Madone, I'm just stuck with the black one. And again, I don't hate the black one, but it's a Madone. I really wanted a cool color. I don't know. That is a nitpick I have. I think hopefully Trek will really let you order a Madone frame in Project One. And there's no reason why they shouldn't. It's weird.
But frames are in stock. You can actually buy them.
The hype is less I think Trek's hype level is a little bit less than other brands. I think we both really like this bike. It's a bike that, for me, as somebody who doesn't race a lot, I probably won't return to it. I feel like whenever I'm riding it, there's a little bit about me that just feels kind of silly. I'm just like, man, I feel like I'm over biked for my road riding, and I really enjoy climbing, and that's kind of the one thing that I want to do on a road bike is go climb. And I do think it's bad at climbing in terms of comparing it to a lot of the other bikes I've ridden. So for me, I think I enjoyed my time with the Madone. I think it is an excellent bike. I feel like I wouldn't buy another one at this point.
I would. This is by far my favorite bike that I've ever ridden so far. There'll be more bikes coming that I will ride, and maybe I'll like one better than this. There aren't any downsides on this bike for me personally. It just handles so well, it's so fast, it climbs well enough, it makes cool noises when you flick it, and it's a great bike. We may not have this exact bike in stock right now, but if you want one, hit us up in the comments. And
How would somebody order a bike in the comments?
maybe like shop at thebicyclestation.com.
Or Trey will give you his phone number. What's your phone number?
You want my phone number? I won't give it to you.
Bicyclestation.com. Order yourself a bunch of stuff like GP 5028 TR in stock, STR, whatever. I don't do road bike stuff. Berg bar tape in stock now. Orderable Silka ball cages in stock now.
That's some cool stuff you can order from thebicyclestation.com.
Do it. I do want to give a shout out to the Madone SL. We have not gotten one in the store yet, and once we do, I ordered a couple, so once we get one, we're gonna do a build video of that. But I think that is the bike to look at. That bike is such good value, and like you get the same kind of frame, it's just a little heavier. It's an aero bike though, so I'm not sure that really matters. Any bike I can think of, this one being a little bit heavier is no big deal at all. Like I said, I already think it's not a good climber, but just the straight line speed of this thing, the downhill speed, like honestly, adding half a pound to it might make it faster downhill, realistically.
Yeah.
So Madone SL, that's the bike that I think if you're in the market for a new crit bike and you don't want to spend SLR money, like that's the one. No brainer for me here. But yeah, Madone, this has been a good bike. We've sold a lot of cool Madones and owned a lot of cool Madones. I think Trek really killed it with this one. I'm honestly surprised they're not winning more races on it, because it's like the fastest bike in the peloton. It's weird to me. What do you think about that?
It's the rider, not the bike.
Okay. What I mean by what I just said is that it's so fast. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, let us know. Hopefully you did. Next up, we're gonna duel them. Let's get the other one.
Wide stance.
Grace, come on. Duel.